Hello and welcome to this tutorial of functions and printing the square of a number using functions. So first of all, a very simple program to print the square of a number. I use int number and what I need is int square. Now what will be square? Square is a multiplied by a and print square. Very simple. I run the code. No, what else I require? I require something else. I have not the value of a. So first I tell the user enter the number and then I tell the user that square square of what a is square. So now I should take the input from the user. So, this. So what I have done, I have declared the number and the square, and what I have done is told the user to enter the number. I have taken the input, I have done the square of the number and printed it. So SQU. Now run the program, enter the number, enter the number. So what is the number? I say 5. Square of 5 is 25. So square of 5 is 25. This was a pretty simple program. You can again check it if you want to. So I write 7, so 7 square is 49. So it is working properly. Now comes the function. So what exactly is a function? Function is a set of codes written that perform a specific action. Now that is the bookish thing. Okay, so nobody understands with what I've just said. It is just, if you want to write in the exams, you can write that is performs a specific task and gives a certain output. Now in depth, what is a function? Function is basically anything. Say if I have written this, what is the central line of my code, of my this program? This is program of square. So this line performs my main task. Okay, so what is the core idea of a function is that right now the essence of the code was to get the square. It was a pretty small task, but say if you want to perform a very big operation of 10 to 15 lines of code, now for that purposes you need functions, because what functions does is that it combines a certain amount of code and it puts it somewhere else, and we just use the name of the function which tells the compiler that this is what you have to do. So right now what the essence of my code is this. So if I create a function, what I have to do is that I should write here what I have to write. I have to write square because it is what it is doing, square. Now you will be getting confused between this and this, so I write this as square and this as s. So this is pretty much easy to understand. Now s is the variable and square is the function. Now what should I do in the function? I should multiply the number. So you have to understand that this a is declared in main, which is also a function, but I want to access this value in this function. How can I do it? I cannot do it directly, so I have to pass the parameters. What are parameters? Parameters are any kind of variables which are written in the function's brackets. Now when I will call this square function, this is the declaration and definition of the function till here, and the calling will be done in main. If I make say 10 functions, but what matters is that where I call them, I have to call it in main. Now one thing again to be considered is that this I have to write int square, because what this function is going to do is that it is going to square the variable I am going to pass. I have passed say number n, so I have passed n over here in the function square, and I have what I want to do is n into n. Now again I can use a variable say x. I can use here say x, and now x equals to n into n, and now I can return x since x is integer. So I have written int here. Again what this function does, square is the name of the function, n is the parameter, the number that is passed. It is going to return an integer. Okay, inside I have written int x, and x is nothing. X is just a variable in which the square of the number will be saved. That's all. I have done x equals to n into n and then returned that value. Okay, now in my main I have written int a and s. I can use the same line, enter the number. I have written this. Now the essence of the program was here, s equals to a star a. This is the operation. So what I write is square of a. N was this parameter. Now what it is going to do, it is going to return an integer, so I have to store it somewhere. So I use s to store it. Okay, so these two things are doing the same thing. Now you will be confused, this int n and a. So what happens is that I have used n here and a here. Now the execution of the code will be, it is going to go to the main. That is the very first thing you have to understand. Any code goes to main very first. It goes to main, makes two variables, prints on the screen that enter the number, takes the input from the user. Now here the value of s will be square and a. Now here is the calling of the function. So it is going, this line is going to jump my code here. What it does is that it compares the a. Now a becomes n, it goes inside int x, x will be a star a, and it will return the square. Now when it is returned, it is saved in s, and square of a is s will be printed. Let us run this code. 5, square of 5 is 25, again 7, square of 7 is 49. So this is my functions. Thank you for watching CS75.in tutorials.